A booming rock and roll voice is now silent. Singer Meat Loaf passed away last night at the age of 74. He recorded one of the all-time best-selling records, Bat Out of Hell, with anthems like Paradise by the Dashboard Lights and 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad. He was also in several movies, including Rocky Horror Picture Show and Fight Club.
But Meat Loaf's biggest impact was in the world of rock and roll. We talked to the Drive Radio's Janda Lane about why so many fans loved him.
Meat Loaf was described as an unlikely rock star. Broadway meets rock. How did he pull it off?
Well, it all started for him in Los Angeles. He was actually doing the theater performance of the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Roxy Theater, which was at the time being sort of spearheaded and managed by the now famous Lou Adler. And he was also working on the album Bat Out of Hell, the first one. And he convinced Lou, or Lou convinced him, one of the two, to play a video, one of the videos that they made way ahead of their time, you know, for making videos for rock songs before these theatrical productions of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it kind of caught on from there for him. And then, of course, the theater production was made into the movie that didn't do too well in theaters, but then it became, of course, the cult classic.
Yet the critics were not particularly kind to him.
Right.
I think Rolling Stone, somebody in Rolling Stone said he made nutrition-free audio lunch meat. Were there any merits to that criticism?
The critics, and particularly Rolling Stone, also did not appreciate the work of Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin. So, you know, you can kind of take that with a grain of salt. And I think that what people will always respond to, no matter what critics say about anything, is when you sense a real authenticity from a performer or an artist, it will shine through no matter what. And he was that in spades. He was also, he spoke to that sort of outsider theater kid, you know, inside many of us. And then he crossed over. So he just was undeniable in a way that many bands have been in those shoes.
More than 40 years later, his records get a lot of airplay on your radio station and others. What's made him so enduring?
Well, the fans. I mean, the people have now passed Meat Loaf's music, Bat Out of Hell, on down through generations. I personally remember listening to the first Bat Out of Hell album on my sister's 8-track, my oldest sister's 8-track in her car. So, you know, I mean, it's passed down. I've listened to it with my nieces and nephews, you know. It's just a kind of a thing that it's kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody. It will just keep passing on down through generations. Everybody likes to sing along to it, even though nobody really can.
That was The Drive's Janda Lane. Thank you, Marie. We should also acknowledge Jim Steinman, who wrote Meat Loaf's hit songs. He died just last year.
Their partnership, as I was reading today and brushing up on my Meat Loaf knowledge, which was really fascinating, seemed like a really beautiful partnership. And I had no idea the depth and breadth he had of interacting with musicians from different genres from him.
Yeah, members of the E Street Band, members of orchestras in New York and Philadelphia. It was a full-scale production.
Pretty impressive. And you can tell, I didn't know about his Broadway background, but in his belting, it all makes sense now.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.